Awesome. Oh,
So I spoke to Mary about the talking points that we could go through, and obviously the one that I was really interested in was talking about Silver Linings, which
sure.
came out on May 14th. So I'm going to give you a quick introduction about myself. So my name is Eric Poulin. So I'm a francophone. I live in a suburb of Montreal in Quebec, Canada,
Awesome.
and I've been working or contributing with Metal Temple for the last 3 years as an interviewer, a reviewer, and writing articles as well. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm coming from. So
Awesome. That's great.
so Silver Linings came out on May 14th. I don't know if you can give us a little bit of a backstory on how that project came to be, and if you can give us a little bit of insight on the title itself.
Well, basically, when the pandemic hit here, America, it first hit up in like not Seattle, but up in Washington, and it also hit in New York. And I have a lot of family in New York, and yeah, we were very worried. And I was watching news 24/7. Uh, it was just a very dark time, and I felt like we weren't getting answers to questions. And yeah, maybe there weren't answers at the time because it was just so new and no one knew how to handle it. I don't know, man. It was just a very strange time, and I was getting very depressed by what was happening, as I'm sure millions of other people in the country and around the world were going through the same thing as well. My girlfriend said to me, you have to stop watching the news and you have to stop being on your phone looking for these answers, because the daily rigmarole of this whole thing is just completely fucking you up. And I just had to stop watching it. I had to tear myself away from it and go be creative again. And that being creative again meant me going playing again, creating. So I was still in that whole Neil Peart had passed away around that time, and really had an effect on me. So I figured out how to make a song, video, whatever, and called up some musician friends, asked them if they would join me in doing this. So I called Alex Skolnick and I called Rod Diaz, and we did a little version of YYZ. And it really felt good to play with my friends and just make music again. And of course, I was thinking about Rush. So all those things just, it was all coming together. We put out a video and people loved it, and the response was amazing. And so we did another one, and that was awesome too. And I started to get emails and texts from other musicians like, how are you doing this? How are you guys making this happen? Are you playing this live? Or and I don't want to give away the secret, but of course, look, it's not rocket science. This is how I was doing it. And it started to get good to me. And then I started to develop different ways of doing it. And I started to think of other songs to do. And then it just kind of snowballed into something. But I never intended to put this out. It was just me fulfilling the time that I had and making it work for me and making it work for my friends as well, because I knew they were going through the same things that I was going through. We're musicians, but we're also entertainers. And I guess for me, I've been doing this for so long that I kind of felt lost. I love being home. Don't get me wrong. I got to do many things that I wouldn't have done if I was away on tour. So that's how the title came about. In all of this darkness, in all this depression and all of this uncertainty, there are silver linings. And that's how the title came about. So for me, silver linings was being creative, creating music, creating art, being home with my family, seeing my daughter every day. These are the things. And I think some people didn't take the time to maybe change something about their lives or embrace this thing. You know, I would see comments from people writing about, oh my God, I want my kids to go back to school. I can't take them anymore. And it's like, yeah, I don't think that way. I kind of saw it the opposite of like, wow, this is a great time to like really embrace those things.
Yeah, and I'm not a musician, but I do write about music quite a bit. And in a period where we didn't know what was going on, we had no concerts, we had nothing, you know, as fans, we didn't really know what to do. It was a lot of fun to watch those videos. And I still remember the one, well, this was with Anthrax, but when you played Time for the Wacken online version, and it made me feel so happy to get to hear that song again. And you know, I've been a huge fan of that song, and getting a chance to see that video, and same thing with the other videos that you've done for Silver Linings. I mean, I'm going to get into that later, but there's such a positive vibe coming from those songs that, like, when I was listening to it, I just had a big smile on my face. Every song that was being played, it just made me feel good. And I'm pretty sure that it had the same impact on a lot of other people when they listen to it or watch those videos.
Yeah, I mean, that was the basic, that's what pushed me to do more, you know, because I was feeling good inside and other people were feeling good and they were letting me know that. So, you know, and I didn't even know if I was going to stop it once, you know, or I'm going to stop it once things start to really kick in. I mean, it's like I enjoy doing it. So every once in a while, I'll get together with a few friends and maybe put another one or two out.
I wanted to talk to you about the cover art, which is very special. And I know it was done by Brian Ewing. Can you tell us a little bit about the concept behind it? Because it has those X-rays where we're seeing inside your body, and in the background you have all those faces. So
well, I've known Brian for quite a while. I've always loved his artwork, and I wanted him to do the cover. Brian has a certain style that how he approaches artwork and how he approaches his style, of course. So I wanted to incorporate everyone who was a part of this. And the only thing I told him is I don't want to mention anything about COVID anywhere. I don't want any negativity about it, but I did want the colors to reflect the COVID colors, the red, the gray, you know, that. So that's why everyone is kind of grayish silver, and then you have the red overlay of the skeletal design. So that was it. And I told them, just go off, you know, do your thing on it. And that's the only thing I told them I wanted.
okay, well, it's an awesome cover. I think it's really cool.
Thank you. Wait till you see the Rush EP cover. That to me is so awesome.
And when is that coming out?
That'll be out November, Record Store Day.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And okay, so now I wanted to get a bit into some of the songs. So I listened to it yesterday, so it was going to be fresh in my mind. Now, I don't think we're going to have time to go through all of them because there are 14 songs on this. But I wanted to go through some of them, and one of them is one of my daughter's favorite songs. So we'll definitely talk about that one.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, exactly. But let's talk with the opening track, a track that I've never actually heard covered by anyone, "The City of Blinding Lights" by U2. And Mark does an amazing job on this one. Like, I was just blown away by his vocals. I still think he's one of the underrated vocalists, and now what he's able to do is, it's just absolutely amazing. So I wanted to know a little bit like why this song was selected and what U2 means to you.
So the reason why I chose this song is it's one of those U2 songs that when I hear it or when I see them do it live, it just gives me goosebumps and just makes me, I don't know, dude. I just feel so. It's like one of those things where it's cliche to say, but you come out of your body, you know, and it had that effect on me when I saw it live a few times, and it's always stayed with me. This song. Um, so I could have done the other song I was going to do was the song "Bad," but I felt this song was more like uplifting during this time. Bad would have been a complete,
Mm,
you know, downer. So um, we love Death Angel. We love uh, having those guys with us on tour. And Mark is always, on the bus, and we'll always be listening to music and having some drinks. And him and I have similar taste. And U2 was one of the bands that we both agreed on that we love. So Mark wasn't familiar with this song, and I just said, dude, I hear this thing in your voice that I know you can do this. So I asked him and I asked Frank from the band to do it because I knew together they could do a great job vocally, and they did. Both of them just did such an amazing job, and musically, took me a little time to perfect the guitar parts and everything. But yeah, I thought it was great.
oh, it's an awesome cover. I was really blown away by that one. Like
Um, I, I have a quick question for you. Is
sure.
there any way I could pause this, or I I have to go deal with something outside for 5 minutes? Could I come back?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll sign right back in. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Okay, sounds
Or
good.
do you want me, or you want me to just leave it and then I'll just come back?
You can leave it and that's fine.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry about that.
Oh, not a problem. I think Mary sent you an email about the fact that my kids are home today as well. So
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to keep them as quiet as possible. It's not easy.
Oh, I don't care, dude. Let them scream. Uh, but no, this a friend of mine, he's coming to do some work for me, and I said, "Hey, man, give me a 15-minute warning." No warning.
Not a problem. I wanted, obviously, Iron Maiden for me has been one of the most important bands of my life and my teenage years. And you covered Transylvania on Silver Linings. So I think it's John Dene, right, who plays guitar on this one, I believe.
John and Snake from Skid Row.
Now, why was this specific song selected for Silver Linings? I mean, they have such a deep catalog, but why this one was specifically chosen?
Well, Snake actually suggested it. It's always been, I guess, our generation, that first Iron Maiden record, there's so many killer songs on it. Transylvania being the only instrumental. And if we did Transylvania, we wouldn't have to deal with a singer. So that was basically why we did Transylvania. And it's a guitar song. It's for guitar guys, you know, those two, John and Snake, great guitar players. So it gave them a chance to kind of express, you know, their talent. And again, for me, it's one of my favorite Iron Maiden songs.
Awesome. Now, another band, now the only band that's covered twice on Silver Linings is Kiss. The two songs are, I guess you can call them deeper tracks, because they have All the Way and Mr. Speed. So why were these deeper tracks selected for Silver Linings as opposed to maybe some of the more well-known songs from Kiss?
These two happen to be some of my all-time favorite Kiss songs. And whenever Mr. Speed to me is just a perfect Paul Stanley song. The way it sounds on Rock and Roll Over is just amazing. And I always felt that song should have been played, and it should have been on the live too, because it's just that song, and the other song on that record is called Take Me, two Paul Stanley songs, which I thought were great Paul Stanley songs. The other song is All the Way, which of course is on Hotter Than Hell. I always felt that song should have been on a live one. It would have been so amazing to hear it with that sound of a live. So basically I said, I want to do these two songs. So I contacted some friends to do it. And I just, you know, paying attention to detail was the most important thing about all these songs to me. And I wanted the drum sound to be as close as possible to that sound. I wanted the vocals, everything. I just wanted it to sound very authentic. And everybody just pulled it off so amazingly.
Oh yeah, they sound like Kiss. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They sound like Kiss. It was so close to the original sound. You can't get closer than that, I think.
No, I think it's so close to the original that people wrote that we were just lip syncing the song, and I'm like, no, we recreated it.
There are two other songs on the album. They're like, I guess you can say, in a completely different realm. One of them is Teardrop by Massive Attack from the Mezzanine album. And you also have Rhiannon from Fleetwood Mac, which has been rated as one of the top 500 songs of all time by Rolling Stone. And so those two are, I guess you can call them jar benders. I guess they broke down barriers. And so I don't know if you wanted to elaborate a little bit on the choices of those two songs that are so important in music today.
So the Massive Attack song, that record, Mezzanine, we were on tour in Europe when that record was coming out, and our A&R person overseas gave me an advanced copy of Mezzanine, and I listened to it all the time on that tour. And I was just so blown away by it. The sound, the song, the songs they did were just amazing. So when it came time to pick one of those songs, you know, because it was either that one or the other one from that record, and I felt Teardrop, I wanted to beef it up a bit, put some testosterone on it with that kind of heavy Led Zeppelin beat. And my girlfriend Carla, I pushed her out of her comfort zone. She did an awesome job with that song, and it was difficult for me to get all the layers in that song, because it has so many different textures to it, and it's very atmospheric, and it was a little difficult to do that song, but I'm so happy that I actually did it.
No, it really came out awesome on the. It's different, but keeps the essence of the original as well.
Oh yeah.
And
I was listening to the original the other day in my car, and I I was waiting for the big drums to kick in, and they don't kick in. Uh, but yeah, I mean, for me, I always heard it kicking in heavy, but they don't do it that way because it's their version, of course. And the other song that you mentioned, um, which was Rhiannon, uh, uh, Mark Mengi, who's been a friend of mine for a while, his mom had recently passed away, and Rhiannon was her favorite song.
Oh,
And I had done a bunch of these songs, these videos, and Mark contacted me about possibly doing Rhiannon, and I was like, I think I could pull it off. Let's get certain people involved in it that could definitely handle the guitars, the vocals and everything. And that's what we did. The thing about that song that I wanted to do is I wanted to stay true to the Stevie Nicks version, the Fleetwood Mac version, but I also wanted to incorporate the original Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green. So I left a bunch of bars open at the end of the song to kind of have a jam and let Alex Skolnick kind of rip a bit, in that kind of Peter Green type of playing style. And that's what we did. And yeah, I love that section at the end where Alex just kind of goes off a bit.
yeah, it really is a very cool cover. I also wanted to talk about, well, I said I was going to talk about it. I have to, because it's one of my daughter's favorite songs. So Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, which is the most recent song on that's covered on here, because I think it's from 2019.
Yeah. Well, the simple answer to that was I also have a daughter, and about 3 years ago, I think it was about 3 years ago, she was playing this song in the car by Billie Eilish called Ocean Eyes. And she would play that, and she would play another song too. And I was like, that's a really good song, And then when the next album came out, it had Bad Guy on it and other songs, and she would play it constantly in the car.
Yeah.
And I just thought, these are great songs. How old is this kid? And it just, there were just great songs that she was doing, and I wanted to do just a kind of like the Massive Attack song. I wanted to beef it up a bit. That's all I was trying to do, and just do like a remix version of it with a heavier guitar and just a heavier drum and heavier bass, and that was it. And we just had fun doing it, Ra and myself. We did that. We did the Beastie Boy one. Ra is on this record a lot,
Yes.
because him and I are very much in tune with certain things. Like he can adapt to any sort of style. So he's an awesome musician.
Yeah, I noticed he was very present on the Silver Linings, and you're right, he can literally play anything.
Anything.
One of the songs that even though it's not a very long song, but it's a song that I really enjoyed on Silver Linings, was the UK cover that you guys did, Crystal Vivace, which is so you're playing that with Jordan Rudess and Alex Skolnick. That song is absolutely nuts, because they're, again, progressive rock / jazz fusion legends in the music business, and I thought it was very cool to hear you guys play that and also add your elements to it as well.
Oh, there's a lot of chops in that song, and it's always been one of my favorite songs. UK was this band that was put together with great musicians in it, but they also had great songs. And when I was 16 years old, 17, 16, I was playing in this band that would play bars, and we would play 2 UK songs. One song was called In the Dead of Night, and Alaska. That was the other song. And yeah, always been one of my favorite bands. So when it came time to do this, I was like, we have to do this song. And Jordan he just kills it. I mean, the guy he's amazing. Alex is amazing, and Ra is amazing. So the four of us putting it all together, it was just like, how many notes can we possibly play in this song? So I was very happy with it.
Yeah, for what's like a little bit less than 2 minutes, but it goes literally all over the place.
Exactly.
It's a pretty crazy song. Um, and so again, there's a lot of material on the album. I don't think we can go through everything, but there are two other projects that are covered here. One of them is, well, has a member of Run DMC playing with you, playing a Run DMC medley, and the other one is from one of the bands that I've always been blown away by is Living Color, and the masters of, I don't know if you want to call it funk rock, or like, again, another groundbreaking band that just incorporated so many elements in their music. And so I don't know if we could elaborate a little bit on those two songs, the Run DMC medley and Funny Vibe by Living Color.
So the Funny Vibe was one of the earlier ones that I put together, and Ra and I played that, and then we got Henry from the Butcher Babies to play guitar on it, because I always saw something in Henry's playing. Like, he's a really good guitar player, but he's a really good lead guitarist, and he fucking nailed it. He played Vernon like to the T, but he added some of himself in it. And then of course I asked Corey to sing on it, and I was blown away because Corey could sing the phone book, and it sounds amazing, you know. So Living Colors will always one of my favorite bands, and that first album is just flawless from start to finish. It's perfect. So I'm glad we got a chance to play that song. The Run DMC medley was something that I was thinking about in my head, the arrangement, how I wanted it to be. So I put it together in sections, and then I used my Alesis trackpad to trigger each part. So I played that song as if I was a DJ, and that wasn't pre-recorded. What you see me playing, that's how we did it. We did it all live. So if I'm triggering the next part, it's going down live. And then I sent it to Ra. He put the bass over it. Rob put his guitar over it. He plays so well on that song, man. Rob is just such a great, tasty guitar player. And then of course, to top it off was D. And D just, man, when him and I were going back and forth talking about it, and then he put it all down. And the guy is just such a professional. Like, he just kind of swings with the whole thing and just flows. And it's so amazing to see a master MC at work. And again, DMC, just one of the best.
Yeah, they're definitely one of the, because I remembered that Run DMC, if I was one of the first acts, musical acts to play at a WrestleMania from the WWF at the time, back in 1989. Wow. Back in 1989, they had always used a few like artists here and there, but they never actually had a band play. And right. I remember I was in New Jersey, and they had Run DMC play. I think it was like one or two songs. So I had a flashback of that. That was my memory of Run DMC.
That's awesome.
And well, there's another band on here that is in another different genre. So I guess the Seattle scene, the Washington scene, with Mother Love Bone. And I didn't remember that song was on the Singles soundtrack, the movie Singles. That was, I think, 92 or something, 91, 92.
Yep, it was on there too, yeah.
Yeah, and that's an amazing song. So I don't know if you can walk us through that song and its place on this album.
Well, so that song, I always remembered that song. Whenever I would think of Mother Love Bone, that's the song that I would always remember, because it had such an impact on me when I first heard that song. And I remember there was a magazine called Rip Magazine, and a good friend of mine, Lon Friend, was the editor of that magazine. And I would always go up to Lon's office in LA. Like, we would do our records out there, and we would spend months out there, and I would be finished early on. So I had nothing to do. So I would go hang out with Lon in his office. And one day I was up there, and he got a phone call saying that Andrew Wood had died, and I remember it was like as clear as day, and I was kind of bummed. I was like, oh man, that band was kind of on the rise, and it always had a bit of an effect on me. After that, a lot of those Seattle bands kind of broke out, but that band I thought was, I just saw potential for the future, and of course, for some of them, Pearl Jam was the future. Uh, but that album was so awesome to me, and Andrew Wood was always just, he had this thing about him, this vibe, the way he sang and the way he just wrote songs. So Mark Osegueda and I, another band that we bonded over was Mother Love Bone, and I'm so happy that I did this song, because every time I hear it, it just makes me happy to hear it.
Yeah, it's I find it's a very uplifting song, even though it might have a little bit of a dark element to it.
Yeah,
Because it is a kind of a special song. It's also an 8-minute song from a band and from that era and that genre. So it's not something that it was that common at the time to have such a song like that, which is almost, you can almost call it an epic. And Chloe Dancer, Crown of Thorns, but yeah, that's where Stone Gossard basically started. I mean, that was with that project,
yeah,
and then he moved on and and continued on in the scene, and is still very important today.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to talk briefly about the Among the Living graphic novel, because I pre-ordered it. I think it was back in November. On purpose, I've avoided any spoilers or any information about it. I don't want to read about it. I don't want to. I want to be surprised when it comes out. So but I know it's being released very soon, and I'm super happy. I can't wait to see it. But can you kind of walk us through that project and how that came to be and how it was done?
Basically, I'll give you the shorter version of it. Josh Bernstein, who is at Z2 Comics, approached us about this concept, about this idea, and Scott and I were very like entertained by this idea of doing a graphic novel based on this album. But we also had some ideas of our own. Like for me, I wanted to do some artwork for it. I know he wanted to write a story or two, and we also had other ingredients that we wanted to put in it, like who's going to write it, who's going to illustrate it. So I mean, the whole band is involved in this. Like I did artwork, Scott wrote a story, I think Frank did a story, Joey did some writing and a forward for it, and then came time that we were going to pick who we wanted to be a part of it. And would we get these people? We didn't know. So we just put a list together, and one by one, they all agreed to do it. So that was the biggest part of the whole thing, getting the people that we wanted to be involved in it. So the Rob Zombie story is awesome. The Corey Taylor story is awesome. The Gerard and Mikey Way story is awesome. I mean, I'm still kind of blown away that all these people agreed to do it, and they brought their talents to this, and it's such a great piece, man. Once you see it and read it, it's really good.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. And I find it's like things coming full circle. I don't know if you see it that way, because the band Anthrax obviously has a love for comics and horror and all that. And now an album that's iconic, like Among the Living, that talked about some of these concepts, now actually gets the graphic novel treatment in 2021.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm so happy.
that's and there's gonna, I know Judge Dredd is in it. I mean, because I saw it in one of the episodes. So I was a bit of a kind of a spoiler, but I was like, okay, that's fine. And I didn't mind finding out, but
yeah, that's for I Am the Law, and of course, how could it be any different? But
yeah,
yeah, but the story is great. That's the thing. It's a really good story.
Did this whole process take a really long time to finish, or?
I mean, it's close to a year.
Wow. Okay.
you know. But I guess the thing that helped us was COVID, and a lot of people weren't doing much.
Hmm.
So it was a really great time to get people to, like I said, lend their talents during this time, which was kind of like a lot of downtime. So yeah, so I think that helped us to get the talent.
And also, there's a new design as part of a picture disc for Among the Living. As part of that, where did that idea come from? Like to change the artwork and.
I just think they wanted to do an updated version of it for the book itself, and then Greg Nicotero did a new version of a zombie Not Man for us, which is fucking awesome. So it was just kind of updating everything, not using everything that was once old, just kind of updating and recreating, just for the book.
Okay, so it was really done specifically in regards to the book release. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if we have a lot of time left. I also wanted to talk about your coffee brand. I'm a huge avid coffee drinker. Where did that concept come from, or where that idea come from exactly?
So I've been doing the coffee thing for about 10 years now. I did it independently at first, and then I kind of got hooked up with these guys from Chicago, Dark Matter, who great bunch of people, and we share similar interest in that we love coffee. And I went down there to meet with them. We had a great meeting. We all stood around a big table and sampled coffees, spit it out, and then I chose these type of blends that I wanted for my coffee, and that was it. We put it all together, and now they distribute it for me, and that's been going on for a few years now. And like I said, I couldn't be happy. It's not in the stores, which I wish it was in the stores. And hopefully someday we will get it there. But the thing that differentiates my coffee from other people's is like I did it from the ground up. I didn't just slap a label on somebody else's coffee. Mine is probably the most authentic, style, taste that there is compared to others. So yeah, it's not like it's a labor of love.
Is that something you still want to continue on, like making more brands under your name? Yes.
Absolutely.
And how would it be different from the one that you have? Obviously, I haven't tasted it. It's not. I don't think it's available in Canada, to my knowledge.
Well, we do ship to Canada. I have a lot of people getting it in Canada. Yeah. But again, distribution is the toughest.
To be able to get it to the stores itself, or like having basically a deal in place. Or...
Still trying.
Okay. So it's possible in a year or two from now, I'll be able to actually see it in a lot of stores here in Canada. You never know. Okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty much what I wanted to cover today. I mean, again, for me, this is an honor because I've been a huge fan of Anthrax and your music, and you as a person, as a musician. You talked about the Projects Over Lines and where it came from, and how you were using that to deal with the whole situation in the world. For me, listening to you explaining how that was influencing you, and that was your way out, was something that pushed me to push myself as well in how I was writing about music in this pandemic, because with everything was kind of bringing us down. It was a very depressive time, like you said, at the beginning with the news, and it was all over the place. And here in Canada, it wasn't easy either, especially in Quebec. They started really shutting everything down very quickly, and it was like, okay, we shut it down, we bring it back, we shut it down, we bring it back. So it was really, it was very hard. And with Metal Temple, I've been writing a lot of reviews, but I felt like a little bit of that passion was it was going away because it was a little difficult because of the overall situation in the world. And then I saw your interview where you were talking about why you were doing these jam sessions. And I was like, okay, I can use this as my own inspiration as well, because you're finding a way to express yourself and get away from all this crap, and I can do the same. I just need to focus even more on music, which I did in 2021. I focused a lot on well, I'm not gonna lie, on Anthrax. But so just to give you a quick tidbit here, I had spoken to Heidi originally about talking to the members of Anthrax, and I said, well, myself and my brother, we decided to write an article about the 40 years of Anthrax because of what the band means to him and means to me. It's like our brotherly bond through metal. He discovered metal with that band, and he knows everything about the band. He knows all the songs. That's his DNA, and we've shared that bond for the band. And like, how do you want to write an article about it? Nothing else is going on in 2021. Why don't we do it? And so we wrote the article, and I sent it to Heidi, and she said she was really blown away by the quality of the article, and the passion that was that we put into that article, and said it was being sent to the whole team. And I was like, you have no idea how much that means to me to get that connection with the band members, including yourself, and also getting a chance to do this. Never in a million years I thought I'd actually get a chance to sit down with you and have a chat about music.
Oh, I'm glad we did. I enjoyed it, and I'm sure we'll do it again once we have something else come out.
No, absolutely. I definitely want to do that again. I wish we could talk for hours. Unfortunately, I have to work in about 15 minutes.
I know. I have another interview that I have to call now.
Okay. So again, thank you so much for this. I really, really appreciate it. And I can't wait to talk to you again when we have more news on your end in the music sphere.
Yeah, man. All right, Eric. Well, have a great day. Thanks for doing this, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Charlie. Have a good one.
Later, bro.